we've got a problem. If your house is on fire and you call 911, who comes to the rescue? The fire department. If you fall or you break your leg and you call 911, who comes to the rescue? Paramedics. So what happens if you have a mental health crisis? You call 911 and then what? On October 26, 2020, when Walter Wallace Jr. was having a mental health crisis, his family called 911, but there was no rescue. 2 Philadelphia police officers showed up and they killed him while his mother begged for mercy. We can't have that happen again, and we won't let that happen again. Philadelphians deserve treatment, not trauma. So what can we do to prevent the next family from experiencing the heartbreak of the Wallace family? The answer is defund the police. You know, when we say the phrase defund the police, people tend to get a little anxious. And I get it. That word defund feels loaded for a lot of reasons. For one, our communities know and very familiar with the concept of defunding when it comes to other things. We have witnessed the systematic defunding of education, of housing, of healthcare, of things like libraries and parks. We know how defund feels when it's happening to the resources that we actually need. And something our communities desperately need right now is safety. Right now, our communities are experiencing the pain of gun violence. We are hurting, and our young people are getting caught up, or worse. So that phrase, defund the police, also feels scary because violence is real. And how do we address that very real threat? But here's the thing. The police are doing a very, very poor job of preventing violence, and that's by design. Police aren't here to keep us safe. They only show up in the aftermath of violence. And as we've seen over and over again, they just create more violence. And we know this because you've told us. In the recent Investing in Safety Week in Field survey, 75% of Philadelphians said that police are bad at preventing violence in their neighborhood. So what do? Let's invest in services that our city needs that actually keep us safe. Let's invest in education, in housing, in healthcare, in libraries, in parks and recreation, in art, in youth programs, in mental health services. We're only gonna get that money if we tax the rich and defund the police. The way that we prevent another tragedy like the murder of Walter Wallace Jr. is to fully fund non-police mental health crisis response. That means expanding the number of mobile crisis teams in the city. Right now, we only have 1 mobile crisis team for the entire city. All right, that means having multiple crisis teams operate 24/7. Right now, that team only operates during business hours. That means you should be able to call 911 to access a mobile health crisis team. Right now, you have to call a 10-digit hotline number. All right, and we must reject any mental health crisis response proposal that involves the police. The police have no business responding to mental health emergencies. We say no to police co-responders. Philadelphia, we've got to fund treatment, not trauma. We've got to fund care, not cops. We can do better. The time is now. Join us in demanding treatment, not trauma, from City Council this budget season. Thank you.